Hello everyone and welcome to Cappuccino with HR. My name is Rudi Bauer and after 40 years in business I'm 100% sure that the success of companies is directly related to the passion of the people working for these companies. With the Cappuccino of HR we created a format where we really invite people, it's HR leaders, it's recruiters, it's talent acquisition guys, and we're talking about all the different kind of topics, and the range is going from AI of course to new work, to leadership and all the challenges along the way. Yeah, hello and welcome to another episode of Cappuccino with HR. And today I'm really delighted, and probably you have recognized that the setup is a little bit different than normally. But we are invited in one of the most fabulous office buildings that I have seen in the last couple of years at Erste Bank campus, which is really, really nice. I mean, it's a meeting room which looks like a meeting room, but the rest of the building is so amazing. And I think plenty of places that you could probably, if you walk in, you could find out really some nice stuff. And my guest today is Alexandra Eichberger, and I'm really happy. It took really some time to get it done because Alexandra is heavily busy. I think her calendar is totally full, but we managed it now to do it. It became evening in the meantime, so it's already dark outside. Yeah. Alexandra, thank you very much for your time and welcome to Cappuccino with HR.
Hi, thanks for having me and warm welcome to our Erste campus. Yeah. I very much like that you like our campus because it's really also for us a very special place to work, and I think it really serves the purpose, creating a great environment where people, can bring in their ideas and really create cool stuff for our customers.
Yeah, and today we are talking about a lot of inspiring topics. We're talking a little bit about people and culture. We're talking a little bit about driving change. We're talking about transformation, and we're talking about new world of work. I mean, I think new work is one of the topics which is probably the most awful one already.
It is.
But it has a meaning, and I think it has a really big importance, and I really want to step into it and discuss what you see behind it. So I'm really looking forward to that. But before we start, I really would ask you to probably briefly introduce yourself in a few sentences.
Yeah, I'm happy to do so. And actually, it's already quite a tough question because it's also one of the reasons why I'm pretty busy right now is the reason that I'm in the middle of a transition. So I used to be and still be head of people and culture of Erste Digital. Erste Digital is the IT heart of Erste Group. So it's more than 2,200 IT experts who day by day really ensure that digital solutions, services are not only developed but also maintained and keep the business running. But as of September, I joined Erste Holding, and here I have the honor to be responsible for group people development and culture, and I think this is already some of the topics we are going to tackle. So quite exciting time for me as well, and being in between two jobs or doing two in parallel, but they are very closely linked to each other. So it's really really cool, and I'm happy to have the discussion with you today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that as well. The first thing I want to start, I mean, I have to ask you this question as well because it's called Cappuccino with HR, and every guest is asked this question: what is your favorite coffee?
Actually, it's cappuccino, and I don't say it just because it's the title of your podcast.
Yeah, otherwise we would have renamed it.
No, it's really cappuccino. The only thing, if it's getting late, I tend to go for espresso macchiato, but the favorite is still cappuccino.
Yeah. So the real traditional one, so the good
Definitely.
one, the good stuff. Yeah. If we talk about new work, we started with this discussion, and honestly, I'm in the business now for 15, 16 years in the HR space, and I think new work showed up a couple of years ago. And then I think that the main meaning behind that was probably home office days. What's your take on that? What do we really need to come into the future of work and to stay probably successful as organizations?
Honestly, I'm really struggling with the term new work because is it new? And if it's new, what element is new? So I think it's really an overrated buzzword, not only in the HR area, but also, managers are referring to it. But if you then ask people, what do you mean with it? It's really getting bumpy and, people don't know exactly. And at the end, you come up with, I don't know, home office or other stuff. So this is why I think we really should stop talking about these buzzwords and really having a look on what's needed in the business. You know, what context are we working in? And we all know it. There is tons of activities around, you know, there is a political situation, there's economic pressure, and this is not only the case in Austria, we also see it in other countries of Erste. There is new customers coming in, which are having different demands. There is new technology, just, you know, mentioning the topic of AI. So a lot of things are, you know, changing. And this, of course, needs us to change as well as a company, as an employer, but also, you know, on the individual side. And I think this is what new work is about, understanding what's needed, what are the different requirements of the business itself, of the customers, but of course also how is this then translated to a environment of work. Might it be the topic of values? So, you know, what is next to skill? It's also a lot about mindset. So what is, you know, the core that brings us together and makes us successful? And I think this is really what we need to talk about and, you know, forget about the term.
That's true. That's really true. I mean, if you look on the development, I mean, what we saw at We Are Developers when we were looking in our studies in 2019, and when we were looking into the surveys that we've done 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago, there was a massive change of requirements from the candidate side. So, I mean, in 2019, it was probably big brands. It was earning a lot of money. In the meantime, we see, okay, job security is becoming an issue. Mental health is becoming an issue. Well-being, purpose. I think it's becoming more and more individual. And you, I mean, with being at one of the biggest banks, or probably the biggest bank, you have, on one hand, you have digital stuff and tech people, and you have people from the commercial side as well. Yeah. What do you see? Are there big differences, or is it a human topic? Is it just humans are humans, and I mean, it could also be that the developer has the same needs than probably one on the commercial side? Yes, it's human. Yeah. And as we all know, every human is different, right? Yeah. So for me, it's very hard, you know, to put people into these different layers. Might it be bank versus IT? Might it be generations? Might it be gender? Might it be whatever? You know, sometimes we tend to do these clusters. Yeah. But I think, as you mentioned, it's really about the human and about the individual. So you probably have different things that, you know, that's important for you than I do. And it's probably not only relevant or due to our age or our gender or whatsoever. So I think it's really a lot about individual perspectives. Luckily, we at Erste, we do provide a lot of these things that you have been mentioning. We are a very traditional company in terms of our history goes back more than 200 years. So we have been founded in 1819 with a very bold foundation statement where we already had the topic of diversity quite prominently in. And on the same hand, we are very innovative with, for example, our app George, where digital services, digital products, you know, are evolving on a constantly basis. And I think this combination is quite a nice area to work on, having this kind of safety of a company that exists over a very long time, but still evolving on a continuous way. I mean, if you're here since I wrote that. I read that today when I was looking up the internet, because I couldn't believe that it's already more than 200 years. Is. So, I mean, it's probably transformation is in your genes, yeah. Because it is, definitely. It has to be, because otherwise you can't survive for 200 years. Yes. And that's amazing. Yeah. And I think what's really nice is this, as you mentioned, you know, it's this combination of, you know, having these rooted values back then in 1819. And we also refer to this founding document, you know, which already said no age, no gender, no state should exclude people from the products and the services of Erste Sparkasse. And if you imagine it was 1819, so it's really bold, or it was really bold, and still it's valid now, right? So with this continuous involvement, this is a good combination. Yeah. Alexandra, if we take Erste Bank, we take the 200 years, we take this kind of a lot of transformations, a lot of tough situations, a lot of crises that have been on the plate and the agenda. And if you survive and if you stay as successful as Erste Bank is and always was, of course, at the end of the day, success of a company always has to do with the humans working for this company.
Sure.
I think that's probably the biggest asset companies have. And what I experience, if it comes to change, if it comes to transformation, is always a lot of fear. How do you handle that fear changes place with curiosity?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
And I assume if I would have, this super easy answer on that, I might be rich. Because I think there is no easy answer. We all know, change is a lot about emotions, not only fear, but also tons of other emotions, a lot of uncertainty. You always have this ambiguity in terms of you don't know exactly where to go, still need to stay under control so that the business is keeping running. So you often have this dual system, like, a part is pushing forward the change, the other one is having a look of maintaining tools, services, or the customer needs. So I think it's a combination of various different items. So it's, not one fits all, but it's a combination of smaller and bigger initiatives that at the end come together and serve the purpose of change. One thing that I've seen is it's nothing that can be, just put from top to down in terms of I tell you, you have to change as of now in this and that way. Because we all know that rarely works. We also see it with kids, right? If you tell them what to do and what not to do. So I think one of the key success factors is communication, and the other one is co-creation, right? Bringing people on board. Of course, the strategic pillars and the overall direction, the purpose of the change needs to come top down, and there needs to be also kind of an orientation where we are heading towards to. But then it's of, using the expertise, using the people that are here who have seen a lot and bringing them on board in order to create the way how to get there. And maybe one thing that also sometimes is kind of neglected because, everyone is in this hype of what's new, where to go. I think it's also important if you really do transformation. So if you really do a change in strategic shift or in patterns or in behavior, you need to give time to, now I'm missing the English word, trauern, to say goodbye to the old stuff, right? Because not everything was bad in past, and most of the things have been very successful at this time, in this context. Maybe it's not beneficial for future now, but still, you need to give people time to let old things go, so that they then can embrace the future and become curious.
Yeah, and from leadership point of view, I'm always struggling, and it's probably for me it's a European phenomenon more or less, and it starts probably in kindergarten already, that we are not really good in failure culture.
Oh, not at all. No.
So I think the times that we are in needs really trial and error. It needs trying things. Yeah. Just going small steps, but being agile. And for me, the biggest blocking factor for being agile in cultures that I know, and I've worked a lot for corporates as well, always was this kind of stubbornness and this rigidness of not making failures. How do you handle that?
Actually, it's again a term that I don't like.
Yeah.
It's like future of work or new work or whatsoever. Yeah. I also don't like failure culture.
Yeah, of course.
Because very honest, I also don't want to have my company having a failure culture. What I'm searching for, what I wish that we would have more in the company is having a learning culture. So where it's okay to do a failure or a mistake, where you try out a new approach, a new way, and you figure out it's not working or it's not working as it was expected to do. but then you take your learnings, you take time to reflect, to discuss with your colleagues, and then you come up with another idea, and kind of you have these loops, where you try out, you check how it's working, and then you adjust, and then you continue. And for me, it's much more about learning culture than failure culture, because it's about, we don't want to do failures. It's natural. Yeah. And of course, also our bosses are not saying, hey, cool, you did a failure. But it's more about, admitting that there was a failure, but focusing on how can we avoid it in future, that it happens again. And what is the learning, and how can I apply the learning in future?
I mean, I was looking up your LinkedIn profile a couple of days ago, and then I saw that change management, or something with change, the term change, was already there in your title in 2016.
Yes.
What has changed on change in these nearly 10 years?
It makes me quite old when you say this right now. But yes, indeed. And a funny thing is, I never planned to do something with change. It just happened. So it was also a change on my individual professional career when I was asked back then, do you want to take over the department of change implementation? And I was kind of, oh gosh, what is this? What do you want from me? What is with this? And now I'm coming back to this curiosity thing, and then it was, something I said, okay, I don't know what it is, but it sounds interesting. It might be cool. Let's find out. Let's figure it out. And this is how I came into these change and transformation topics. And then, one came to the other. What did change? I think the main elements of change did not dramatically change, because it was about people, and it is about people. I saw a lot of managers, but also employees, struggling with how to deal with uncertainty, knowing something's gonna change, and we don't know how the future will look like, and how to handle it, how to balance it. I saw a lack of communication back then, and still see that it's here. Maybe where we see an improvement or a progress is what tools are available to support change processes. So, for example, doing employee engagement surveys, or change barometers with cool online tools where you can get easily feedback of the organization. Are they on track with the change? Do they know what's going to happen? Do they feel involved? Are they, is there something that, might be that there occurs a risk, especially now also with AI. So, for example, we also have a tool in place where when people are giving free text fields, I do remember, these big Excel sheets where someone was sitting hours in order to reading all the comments and then trying to find patterns. Luckily, we now have AI who is doing it for us. So it's much easier to interpret the thousands of comments that we get from our employees. So this, of course, helps. But I think the crucial thing of change, it's about people and how you get them on board.
I mean, I was really impressed, because the company you were working back then, I really was impressed that they were already putting it on the agenda back then, because that was really innovative at this time. So, I mean, change was happening, of course, but nobody was really putting focus on it. And I was really impressed that it was in position, and the focus, really dedicated focus on this kind of topic. If you have to find a recipe or give a recipe out to companies out there sitting together, having this kind of discussion on how to build up people culture, how to get transformation right, what is the 5 ingredients you probably think are really necessary, and where do you have to start with? I mean, I think to build up a culture without having a kind of a vision or a strategy as a company probably won't work as well. So I know it's a tough question, but what would you think would be the 5 ingredients that you definitely need? Like baking a cake without wheat probably won't work. So
sure, you need to have this lighthouse, you need to have the purpose, the vision where you're heading toward to. And this needs to be attractive. You know, it needs to be
not profit and not revenue, huh?
Right. Definitely, but it really needs to have something in where people say, oh, cool. Now let's, put all the effort together and let's make it happen. But still, even if it should be attractive, it should be honest. It also doesn't help if we promise something where we at the beginning know that, okay, it's just a trap or it's just a fake. So this should not be the case, not at all. You need to build alliances. You need to have people on different layers. So of course you need stakeholders and the top management, and they really need to go with you, and they need also to act as a role model. But it's even as important, to kind of use this informal network. We all know there is this, people who are, bringing the mood into the organization or bringing the energy into it, and you need to find them and bring them also, as a part of this change team, so that you have multipliers. Because honestly, if you have companies like, for example, us, where you have a couple of thousand people, you cannot do it, with a central team. You really need to spread it into the organization. The third thing is communication. And, there is no too much communication. Communicate. And even if you don't know what to communicate, you should communicate. So even if it's just process communication in terms of we don't have a result yet, but this is what's going to happen. This is where we are heading to. This is the approximate time frame. And here I also think it's crucial to be honest. And, for example, also to admit that you don't know. We cannot know everything, right? Even if we are experts or even if we are top management, whatsoever, it's okay not to know. And to say, we need to figure it out. And in order to figure it out, I need you.
I mean, that would have been my next question, because, there's always this kind of saying, leaders need to walk the talk. And if you're in the middle of a transformation, in the middle of a kind of a crisis, in the middle of an uncertain situation, you probably don't even know where you're heading. But then I think it's even more important to be honest and to say, okay, we don't have a clue right now. We try to find out. With your help, we probably will. And what kind of formats have you established to really set up this communication? Because I think that there's so many tools. We both were at the Unleash, and I was impressed. There's thousands of tools available. So it's not a question of tools. It's more a question of setting it up right, and a question of putting the right things together. What kind of formats do you use within Erste Bank?
I think here we also, again, there is not the single solution. And also if you look, on Erste as the group, so with the different entities in the different countries, there is very diverse set of tools, but also not only digital tools, also formats and HR products and change initiatives that are running. And again, I think this is super okay, right? So there is a lot of differences in countries, in the context you're dealing with. So it's totally okay to have different approaches. And again, I think it's the sum of different things. So just doing one survey once a year for sure does not serve the issue, right? Or doesn't give you all the answers that you're looking for. But it's about, what different things you can do. So, for example, what we do in Erste Digital is, I was mentioning learning, and I think especially if you are in a transformation, it's also important to learn and to skill your teams that you are ready for the future. We will have, end of November, our third Erste Digital Learning Day. And I'm personally super proud of it because it was, again, the Learning Day was a learning exercise because last year we said, okay, we need to learn, and we also need, not only to tell the people that they should learn, but we also need to dedicate resources. And on the one hand side, it's of course investment like money, but on the other hand, we also need to free up time so that people can really invest in their development. So we came up with the idea of having a fully dedicated day to learning, which we then called Erste Digital Learning Day. And We were not so sure if it's gonna happen because it was on free will. So we said, okay, guys, there is one day where we offer different topics. It's online, it's offline in our different locations. So here in Vienna, but also in Bratislava and Košice. So bring whatever is relevant. And it was, well, it still is, but the idea was from experts to experts. So the hosts of the learning sessions are internal experts. So our IT experts are providing their skills, their experience, and share it with the others. In this November, we have the 3rd edition. And I was saying, if we do it 3 times, it becomes a tradition. So if we now execute the 3rd one, then, it's there. And I think this is a very nice example, how change can happen, because here we offer the platform and then it's about learning and sharing experiences, etc.
And I mean, it's also extremely matching with our result, the last result that we had in our big survey that we did, that personal development is a really, really high level topic. And it's really, I think that's definitely matching the needs of the people as well.
And, I think what we also see is, we in HR, we do have tons of ideas what would be good topics that our people should learn. But honestly, the IT expert know it even better what they need in order to, advance in their career and in order to solve the challenges that they are facing day by day. So with this from experts to experts, we really ensure that the topics are relevant for the target group. And we as an HR, we are kind of, providing the platform. So we are supporting in setting it up, in organizing it, in, freeing up the calendars also from the management, but it's really the experts that are bringing their experience in.
Do you have plans to mix it up with other organizational parts as well? So for example, putting in HR people into the tech world and the other way around? Because what we see, we were discussing that for our conference, what we see is, for example, if we're talking since, another buzzword you probably don't like, because it's...
You're not saying I don't like buzzwords, right?
No,
You're not that wrong.
I fully agree. I have the same. Candidate experience, is one of my favorites as well. So it's here since years and it hasn't changed into the positive. And honestly, if you look on UX design, for example, UX design is nothing else than building customer experience or candidate experience, call it like. So I'm 100% sure that if you put UX designers and HR people in a room, they could learn from each other. And if you look on DevOps and HR, it's very similar as well. So, if you mix these target audiences and bring them together, talking together, I think that could be beneficial to companies.
I think so too. And we were quite discussing this, to be very honest, because as mentioned, we are, the IT heart of Erste. But of course, we are very closely in cooperation with Erste Bank colleagues. So now we are providing something for Erste Digital purely. And there was always the discussion, why not inviting the bank colleagues as well? So Erste Digital Learning Day is really focusing on the tech side. So SRE, DevOps, really the core. The core. But as we are on a learning journey, what we now do, and now I'm talking from a new perspective, as group people development, we will actually have in November too, so our first Erste Group Learning Week.
Okay, the whole week.
So kind of, further develop the idea of Erste Digital, now put it on Erste Group. And this is open for everyone. So for all 45,000 people. So no matter if it's HR, if it's marketing, if it's sales, if it's tech, no matter if it's Austria, Hungary, Slovakia, Croatia, whatsoever. So it's really open for everyone.
Really cool.
And it's linked to our overall group strategy. So we provide content that is really, dedicated to the strategy, and whoever wants is up to take part of it. And here I'm really excited on how it's worked, because it's a learning journey also for us on HR, on how people will.
And is it built like a barcamp format more, that people could also bring in topics, or is it kind of a kind of a set agenda for the beginning?
The Erste Group one is a set agenda, which we kind of, built together with the people who are responsible for the strategic pillars. But this is very top down. The Erste Digital one, as mentioned, it's really co-created.
Yeah.
So here the experts bring the topics and the HR is not this, it's just putting it together.
It's just putting it together. Really cool. I mean, if you look on the future of work, if you look on I mean, AI is there. There's a hell of a lot of things going in parallel. I mean, I think people are afraid of losing their jobs. Others are totally excited because of leaning back in their chairs and the agent is doing the work. What do you see there? What will be the change coming out of that, or what happens there? And what's your personal take on this? Your very personal take on it.
I think we all don't know what's going to happen, or at least I'm not capable to understand what's going on here. Because what we see, we all know the statistics, that, I don't know, it took a couple of years for digital solutions to get these 100 million users, and now the recent technology managed to get there in 2 months or something like this. So it's really overwhelming. Still, I see quite positive aspects in it. So I believe that AI makes work more human. Sounds maybe a little bit strange, by implementing technology, becoming more human. But I think due to the fact that AI can already now, but even in future, there will be much more capability of it. They will do, these routine tasks. AI will be or is already able to, analyze data and whatsoever. So a lot of this, let's call it administrational stuff, will be taken away of us, which means we can really focus on the part that creates value, and where we can and should bring in this human touch. I fully understand that people are concerned in terms of what does this mean for me personally. Am I going to be changed, or do I need to change, or will I still have a position and all this? Because I think it's not tangible yet. And even for tech people, it's not totally clear on how quickly it will evolve and how it will look like. And I think here we as a company, and especially leaders, are very much asked, to kind of, create the momentum for curiosity, bring people closer to these technologies, give them a safe space to try it out and to see how it's going to work, how can I assess it, how can I use it, etc. But in general, I'm convinced that we should be afraid or concerned by people who are able to deal with this technology and not by the technology itself.
Yeah. I mean, that is why at our last conference, not 25 and 24, we had David Simmers on stage. He was the chief of staff of Barack Obama, and he was really appelling on the social responsibility of to all the people that are kind of developing and producing this kind of technology, because you can either use it for good or bad. If you look on yourself, do you see AI coming into our business more as a threat, or do you see it more as a kind of a tool, or more as a probably a teammate in the future? What's your personal view on it?
I'm not sure if it really becomes a teammate. I'm not sure. Because, for me, especially when we're talking about colleagues and team members, it's, this human thing. But I can imagine that it's really a great tool that supports me in getting rid of this, for me personally, annoying stuff that then at the end, frees me up to have conversations with my team members or with, other people, with peers, etc. And I think there is a lot in. And not only for us in HR, also on other disciplines and divisions, but even if you look on HR, I think AI and all this technology that, comes with it, it really supports us to get this shift from products to platforms, and with this from one fits all to individualization. Because what we see right now, we are still very much product focused. So we do a leadership training. We do a training on AI. We do a training on data literacy. So very much product related. Maybe sometimes, we're dividing between target groups like managers and non-managers, or I don't know, beginners and advanced people. But I think with this technology, we can really get into this individual,
really seamless offerings.
And on the same hand, we need to be clear, it's not gonna be, from today on tomorrow. It's a journey, and especially, and I don't want to step into the details here because for sure I'm not the expert, but it needs to be mentioned. There is AI Act, and all these regulations and data and, whatsoever, data protection. So there is still a lot we need to figure out how to implement it, how to use it in a very responsible way. But step by step, we will get there. And then I think HR processes will be linked nicely. And we are really getting into this individual support for our employees to grow and to develop.
I mean, I love this view on it, because I think one of the most nice sentences that I heard about using AI was at our conference, a lady from Lufthansa, and she said, we try to use AI to create more human moments. And that was a really nice one.
It is.
I think if we really use it like this, and if we always use this as the lighthouse for implementation of AI, we are on a really good journey. I think that. And
it goes exactly in this direction. Technology makes work more human, right? So and I think it's about us, right? So we are having it in our hand. It's now about being, optimistic, and seeing the benefit that comes in, being curious, but still also be,
I think the respect to humans,
careful in, how to apply it and how to use it, because we know there is risk, right? There is now risk of shadow AI or shadow technology, people starting to do on the private stuff, whatever. There is the risk of the bias, right? So, and I think here we really need to be careful because we know there is bias in the current world. But if we now put it, from the, let's say, analog world into the digital work, because, only, for example, only male people are training the machine, at the end we get the bias in there as well. So we really need to be careful on how to train AI and how to ensure that the data set is as bias-free as possible. So that we then can really also apply it in this way, with this good intention.
Yeah, that's really important. I mean, unfortunately, we have to come to an end. I think we could continue talking for probably another 2 hours, but
then it's only us sitting here, right? So because then we will lose the audience.
I'm using the chance to address you directly on air now. Probably you have the time and you can free up your time to be at our conference, and we put you on stage there and we have a kind of a fireside chat and we continue talking.
Happy to do so. Would be a good idea.
So it's in July from the 8th to the 10th, so we can fix.
So far I don't have plans for July yet, right?
So very good. Okay, then probably you can block it. I would want to end with a kind of this was set questions to you. So probably very spontaneous, short answers on a couple of terms. Structure or spontaneity?
Spontaneity.
Plan the change or change the plan?
Change the plan.
Okay. Comfort zone or growth zone?
Growth zone, for sure. That's totally clear.
Data-driven decisions or gut feeling leadership?
This is a hard one. I would go for gut feeling, but in true, we need the combination.
Culture eats strategy or strategy shapes culture?
Culture eats strategy.
Hybrid forever or back to the office vibe?
Back to the office vibe.
Fail fast or learn slowly but deeply?
This is a really tough one. Fail fast.
Okay. AI as a tool or AI as a teammate?
Tool.
Yeah. Leading with head or leading with heart?
Heart.
Cool. Transformation as a project or transformation as a mindset?
Mindset.
Cool. Thank you so much. Alexandra, it was a pleasure to talk to you. Really
Thanks
nice.
a lot.
I really enjoyed it. Hope you did as well.
I did.
Thank you for hosting us in your wonderful campus office.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Cappuccino with HR. If you enjoy this kind of conversations, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Then you get all this kind of upfront information, your upcoming episodes, and all my nice guests. Cappuccino with HR is brought to you by We Are Developers, Europe's #1 developer community and a leading platform for connecting HR and companies together with developers. If you want to learn more, visit us on wearedevelopers.com. Thank you again for watching and see you next time on Cappuccino with HR.